Joining us now is Jeremy Konyndyk. He is the former head of U.S. Foreign Disaster Assistance, and he's the president of Refugees International. All right, so Jeremy, more than 1 million pounds of food. There are people all over the world, children, who are starving. How many lives could be saved from this food?
So this is enough food being destroyed to feed 27,000 men, women, and children for a month. So in a place like Gaza, or a place like Sudan, where people are starving as we speak, that is a really considerable loss. And what this gets to is the chaos that we're seeing really has a cost. When you put a federal agency through a wood chipper, people suffer.
You know, it seems to me, as somebody who's been in the Middle East, all this food is now in a warehouse in Dubai,
yes,
which is not very far away from Gaza, right?
Right.
So why not get a C-130 U.S. military cargo plane, load it up, and send it either direct to Gaza, drop it there, or send it to Israel and have this new humanitarian organization that the U.S. and Israel supports bring it into Gaza to feed the young kids, the older people, the starving people in Gaza?
I think the new Humanitarian Foundation has a lot of problems in its own right, but let's put that aside for a moment. This is expiring food now. It cannot be distributed at this point because the administration took so long to listen to the staff who were trying to ring the alarm bell on this problem. So originally this had been slated to go to Gaza back in January, but after the freeze and the layoffs of USAID staff, there was no one left to push it out the door, and so it just sat there for months until it became a political problem.
So it's basically all this food is going to be totally wasted.
Yes.
My dad, as I was a kid growing up, he said, "Don't waste food. It's so precious." And now the U.S. government is allow all this food to be wasted?
Absolutely, and staff have been trying to ring the alarm bell on this for months, and the DOJ personnel at the State Department have slow-rolled a solution to the point that now they were able to get the later expiration stuff. Some of it is expiring in September. That is being donated. The stuff that's expiring in July is what's being destroyed.
So the State Department official says that this is not unusual and that USAID has had to destroy commodities under similar circumstances. Does that ring true to you?
No, it doesn't. There is always a certain amount of natural wastage that you have. There might be an infestation or something like that. This is simply happening because they shut down the whole machine at USAID. And when you do that, there is always a lot of food moving through we call them pipelines at USAID, the routes that channel food aid around the world on an ongoing basis. If you shut that whole machine down, the food stops moving and food expires. It can't be held onto forever, which is why you have to keep it flowing.
So just to follow up on that, what I'm having a hard time understanding is we're spending all this money to now dispose of it.
Yes.
Why couldn't it have been distributed before? If you're going to dispose all of it and spend all this money, why couldn't it have been distributed before it expired? I don't understand.
And that's where the DOJ chaos comes in. So it takes a lot of people, a lot of workers, a lot of contracts to move this food around the world. And all of those people were laid off. All of the USAID programs were suspended. The money that needed to be given to organizations like the World Food Program to distribute this was blocked. And Jeremy Lewin at the State Department, the man responsible for this now under Marco Rubio, didn't sign off on a solution until the 2nd of June, and by that point it was too late to move out the food that was expiring in a few weeks.
This is really a horrible situation, because that food could save a lot of lives,
Yes.
young lives, older lives, people not only in Gaza but in Africa and Asia, around the world where people are starving.
And it raises some real questions about how the State Department is being run, frankly. Secretary Rubio has said multiple times on record he would preserve life-saving aid. He said to Congress just a few weeks before all this that he would not allow any food aid to be destroyed. Neither of those things were true.
Terrible. Jeremy Konyndyk, thank you very much for all you're doing. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Let's see if it's not too late to get that food to starving people. Appreciate it very much.
All right, up next.